allows them to try and get away from all the regulations and laws. They want to bring down and burn society for the sake of it. Whatever their hatred is, I don't really care. The fact of the matter is, Bitcoin doesn't allow it. Nothing that derives from Bitcoin allows that. And as much as they want to try and stop me, it's not going to happen.
So the only way to deal with that is just to absolutely come clean about everything. Is that?
Unfortunately, yes.
Right. Where did the actual name of Satoshi Nakamoto come from?
I'm a long-time reader of The Economist. It goes right back to the old Phoenix bit. And the silly part of that is Satoshi is the Japanese name for ash. So the money rising from the ashes, the rebirth and all the rest was back in the 80s, a big thing in The Economist there, which was, as I was getting into work, sort of in university for the first time and everything, that was there. That was something that interested me at the time. And why Satoshi? Because I thought it was a bit silly and whatever else. Nakamoto, because of a Japanese philosopher.
You had an interest in Japanese culture when you were really quite a small boy, I think, didn't you?
Yes, that's correct.
How did that come about?
Well, there was a person I grew up with who was actually Japanese at the time, and the culture, the martial arts, it all interested me. So,
I mean, I just want to read you one thing that I read, which is a kind of comment on the whole Satoshi thing. It says, Satoshi is an important historical cipher precisely because he's mythical, and rather than being forgotten, Satoshi can be considered as a neo-saintly archetype for the digital age, conjured as if from a William Gibson novel. Do you think
I think that is sickening. This whole saintly whatever else, I mean, the myth that is being created around it by these idiots is disgusting.
But if this is a system that is not dependent on any one originator, wasn't there a value in that kind of...
But that's not what it's about. This whole, it's decentralized bullshit. It's absolute crap. It's not about democratizing finance. You can't actually do that with Bitcoin or Ethereum or any derivative system here. It's actually about a stable protocol that no one can change. The whole way that you decentralize, as everyone says, is you pull the developers from ever making a change. You do the exact opposite of what Silicon Valley and that bloody cancer of society allows, and you take away the power of developers. You let them build on top of the protocol, and you don't allow a single developer to ever have a say in what happens ever again, because they are the cancer in Bitcoin. They are the cancer in society.
But you are by clearing up that myth, you are giving yourself extra authority and influence on the system.
No, I'm not. The whole point is you can't change it. My authority comes from the things I've built on top of it, and that's patented. My authority comes because I have, right at the moment, hundreds, and by the time I finish, my aim is to have more patents than any human in human history has ever created. Right now, the record is a Japanese guy who invented LED lights, and he has around 5,500. My current sort of papers and everything like that will take me to around that quantity, and by the time I finish, I want to hit 10,000.
Wow. So let me try and work out how many a week or how many a month does that come to then?
A lot, but I plan to work for at least the next 30 years.
You've got this kind of business arrangements with Jimmy Wynn and with Calvin Ayre. Mm-hmm. I mean, how does that whole triumvirate work between the three of you?
Very well. We actually have different strengths and weaknesses. Marketing is not my strength. Other people do that one well. I don't. I'm very good at creating, architecting, inventing, sitting as the guy in the matrix in the room on the swivel chair, sort of being the wizard behind the curtain.
But I mean, you're not shy of coming in front of the curtain either.
I was at first. It's taken me a while.
Right.
I wasn't terribly happy to do this straight off, and I've had to. That's where Jimmy's been very helpful.
But do you consider this a sort of unfortunate part of your job now, or have you come to enjoy it more?
Bit of both. I'm still learning. I'm still getting there. I still find it very draining.
Right.
I'm probably more of an introvert than an extrovert, so it takes a lot of energy out of me to actually go in front of people and talk. So,
well, I'm going to ask you one more question, and then the agony will be over. It's about quantum computing.
mm-hmm.
If computing power goes up by several orders of magnitude, is that going to have an effect on the way that I don't know, I hesitate now to call it a cryptographic system, but on the basic workings of confirmation in Bitcoin nodes?
No, not at all.
Why not?
Number one, there are different algorithms within quantum technology that doesn't really exist yet anyway. So number one, you don't break hashes. So the hashed functions in Bitcoin are not going to be broken anytime soon. And even if we did have this myth of quantum computers, which I say is really a way of people like IBM staying out of bankruptcy because they suck so much money out of the government to throw at stupid boondoggle projects, then it's not going to actually deliver anything that they're promising. The reality is there'll be specialist systems in quantum computers, if one ever exists, that do very, very limited individual calculations at billions of dollars worth of investment. To create something that could attack Bitcoin in the mythical quantum computer world would require maybe 10,000 hectares worth of quantum computer space in a system that grows linearly, that doesn't follow Moore's law, and for the same investment would actually allow you to have a bigger control of the network anyway. I mean, it's a myth by people who don't understand economics, a myth by people who don't understand physics, a myth by people who don't understand computation, just a myth out there because this thing's going to change things and it's FUD, it's snake oil. It's a way of selling things to scare people into changing algorithms and to doing things differently. And none of it will ever affect Bitcoin anyway. If a quantum computer with 1 billion, and we're talking 1 billion with a B, qubits, logical qubits, not just physical qubits, and we've never created one logical qubit in human history, ever. We have never even gotten close to a single one. Not once. We get to this point where we get 5 or 6 and it collapses. Always the same point. And no one looks at that and goes, maybe there's something wrong here. If we did have 1 billion, then we have a system that will still not attack Bitcoin. It won't solve hashes, and it will take months and months to solve elliptic curve problems, to which you have minutes to attack Bitcoin. So what people don't realize is we would have to surface the whole Earth with these devices, with more actual rare earth minerals, etc., than exist here. We'd have to go out and find a way of mining the center of Jupiter. But no one looks at that. We love to say these things, saying, we're going to invent this new monster that's going to change everything. It's a great way for governments to scare people. It's a great way for people to sell new algorithms. It's a great way for many other things. And it's a perfect boondoggle snake oil project. And it's been there since the 80s, and nothing ever changes.
I must ask you one other thing, if I may. What's your line on the outrageous amount of electricity used by miners?
You mean like the outrageous amounts of electricity used by Google and Google searches?
Similar to that, yes.
No, actually, that's way more. Thousands of times more. You mean the incredibly inefficient use of Visa and MasterCard electricity. That's what people don't seem to understand.
So this has just been blown out of proportion.
Oh, no, it's people who want to attack the system make things up. In fact, it's more efficient than proof of stake. And proof of stake is just a security. It's you vote, except it's all about power. This is what it all comes down to. See, what people don't understand is Bitcoin with a stable protocol takes away power. If no one can change the protocol, not me, not God, there's no power in money. Money is all about power. And this is one of the things Bitcoin has done. It has removed that power. It will remove that power globally.
Craig, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.